What's happening, people? Welcome back to Park Lane Podcast, episode number 71, brought to you and sponsored by our new sponsor, Manscaped. Now, we'll quickly talk about Manscaped before we get into the show today. So, for those of you that don't know about this brand, they are a male grooming brand and do some incredibly amazing products. They were kind enough actually to send me across a package of some of the stuff that they sell. So, some of the things that came across in this package were, and I'm going to go through their names that they pronounce them as because, we need to talk about the brand itself. So they've got the Lawnmower 5.0, which is a body and hair trimmer. This comes with 2 skin fade blades to suit your look that you want. And also, it's waterproof because who doesn't love a good shave in the shower? It comes with the weed whacker, the ear, nose, and hair trimmer, and loads of other stuff, including probably the softest pair of underwear that I've ever seen in my entire life. So if you are interested in any of the stuff that they have to sell, you do get 20% off using the code ParkLanePod at checkout. That's ParkLanePod. You get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Anyway, lads, how are we doing? Dave, why do you do this to me? Where literally I clicked the live button, and then you thought, just tune in, and I had to change the whole setup around. How are you?
Yeah, my bad. I wasn't sure if I was going to be on, but I thought, why not? I'm feeling all right, so I'll jump on for a little while.
Amazing. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. And Callum, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I definitely know that you've been rehearsing that script all bloody week and all that, and most of the kit sounds like stuff that I used to do my grounds maintenance each week, so... Yeah, it's all good, mate. Where have you used them products at the moment? Do we need that detail?
Well, to be fair, everyone, and we might as well talk about it. It also comes with a crop preserver, which is deodorant for your downstairs region. So, if you're interested in making that smell lovely, then you can have some of that as well. They sell everything. Anything you need to know.
You might have to send that my way.
Really, talking about that, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm what you alluded to. It's great to have a sponsor on board. So, but other than that, I'm all good. I'm looking forward to discussing what was a frustrating but exciting win. So,
yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. And I completely forgot there was even any football on, Harry. But how are you after yesterday?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Yeah, all good. It's nice to be back and talking about a Tottenham win. So can't complain.
Amazing. Let's go through that then. We'll come back to you, Dave, and talk about the lineups because Sarr, straight back from African Cup of Nations, came straight into the starting lineup. Højbjerg went out, but Sonny was on the bench after coming back from the Asian Cup. Do you think that was the right call to bring those players in?
Yeah, I think Sarr's had a little bit more rest, didn't he, than Sonny's had. Plus, Højbjerg's absolute... Ooh. Who's
on battery mode?
It's the speaker. I use the speaker to prop up my phone. But no, I'd rather get Sarr straight back in because Højbjerg's wank, and he's been trashed the last few weeks. I don't care what anybody says. He completely slows down our method of play, the way we want to play. He gets the ball and passes it 5 yards backwards or 5 yards to the side. He then gets the ball back again, then passes it 5 yards backwards and passes it to the side. He's just one of them players where as soon as Sarr was in the team, you saw the difference. Yeah, we did go a goal down, but it makes a massive difference. Then, especially them progressive forward runs. Look at the goal he scored. That comes from him bursting through from centre midfield. That's a run Højbjerg he might make, but he don't have the legs to get there and do the same power and intensity that Sarr had.
Yeah, definitely. Sarr is just an unbelievable addition to this team. To be honest with you right now, when we have a fully fit midfield, I'm struggling to know who I pick in that midfield, but we will talk about that in a bit. Let's go through really quickly before we carry on to a few people in the chat, because as always, Jay has been in since 6:17 this evening, so 45 minutes before we even start. He said, what a win. We were poor first half, but then we looked better second half from watching the highlights. We had to fight to just get the win, which is the attitude. Thomas is also in, saying, evening, guys. Johnny D. Hello, Jay, and the Lucky As panel. I should read these before I read them out, to be honest. Jay also said, congrats on the sponsors. Thank you very much. Hypno Trick has said 5 Tottenham enthusiasts. Oh yeah, I remember you because last week you just spent the whole evening spamming us. But to be fair, I'm more than happy to have your spammy comments. So keep it going. Anyway, Callum, let's move on to you. What were your thoughts on Son starting on the bench and Timo Werner starting the game? Do you think that was the right call from Ange?
I think it had to be, mate, because I mean, Son's taken a bit of a battering from a lot of fans around the world this week, and he's a nice guy, so you know that it's going to hit him mentally. So I don't think it would have been fair to throw him straight in at the deep end with a game that probably was a very big one for us as well in the top 4 race. So yeah, I think given that Werner's got 3 assists now in about 4 or 5 games, he's on a decent patch of form. Yeah, just keep him in there and give him a chance. Obviously, didn't work out so great, and Son had to come to the rescue. But yeah, it was fair and reasonable to expect Bissouma, Son, even Sarr within reason to be on the bench. Obviously, Sarr those about a week ahead of them, so that's about it, mate.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Harry, do you reckon this is as strong a team as in terms of players that are fit that we've had all season? Because the question was actually asked to Ange in the press conference before the game, and he was like, "Oh no, it's as fit as it was at the start of the season." But I think he forgets that Bentancur was injured, unless he doesn't rate Bentancur. But it's got to be probably the fittest and strongest team that we've had all season, right?
Yeah, it's nice to have players back, and that is what for me was disappointing about the performance. Obviously, it's going to take players like Son and Bissouma chance to adapt to getting back in this Tottenham team. So it'd be unfair to chuck both of them in. Sarr had longer, as Callum perfectly alludes to. So it's nice to have them back. So I expected us not necessarily to hit the ground running, but we dropped 2 points against Everton in quite a poor dramatic style. So I expect us to hit the ground running against Brighton in a way. We didn't. So we're going to get on to that. But it's in terms of what we've got available, very, very strong.
Yeah, 100%. And Winnie, I want to come to you because I want to ask about who you think is Spurs' best midfield 3. So obviously, as you know, we always play a midfield 3. With everybody fit, Bentancur, Maddison, Sarr, Bissouma, Højbjerg, Skip, can't think of any more. Who is that starting 3? And I'll tell you what, we'll go around to everyone.
If we're talking about just in general, because I mean the problem is if we're talking about form, I'm going to have to exclude Bentancur from it because he has been absolute trash the last couple of weeks, which has shocked me. It's really, really shocked me. But if I'm putting form aside and I'm going for our best 3 talented midfielders, for me, I am going Sarr, I'm going for Bentancur, and I'm going for Madders. But if we're going on form, I mean, it's difficult to say form because there's guys returning from the African Cup of Nations. But I'd maybe be tempted the next game to drop Bentancur for a game and put Bissouma in there and go Bissouma, Sarr and Madders. But I think on just general ability, for me, it's definitely Sarr, Bentancur and Madders all day.
Yeah. Callum, what would you say? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I wouldn't fully agree. I'd say probably Bissouma, Bents, Madders would be my strongest one based on just how they are in terms of progress. But Sarr, for me, I would say still probably takes it at present time because I think Bentancur has looked really not good since he's come back from fitness. And I don't think he will be good until 2024-2025 season. So if it was to go just purely on how it is now, Bissouma, Sarr, Maddison for me.
Yeah, it's so difficult, isn't it? Because I agreed with Winnie. I was like, yeah, it's got to be Bentancur, Sarr, Maddison. But then when you mention, in reality, it's probably Maddison, Bentancur, Bissouma. But then if you look at form, it's probably going to, I would say against Wolves, it should be Bissouma, Sarr, Maddison. Oh my God, it's so confusing, isn't it? Like the amount of combinations that there are is unbelievable. And to think of those names that, you can have in there, it's crazy to think. Dave, is there one that you prefer out of that 3?
As long as Højbjerg's nowhere near the team, mate, I couldn't care less. I think they're all unbelievable. I think you can rotate the 4, including Madders in that. I think Bissouma, when he is on form, he suits our style of play to a T. That quick progression, that getting the ball, the quick turn, knocking the ball away, etc., that kind of stuff. I think with Bentancur, we got to be a little bit kind because he has just come back from that injury. It's not a good one. Not many players are the same after they come back, and it does sometimes take a bit of time to really find his feet again. So right now, for me, in order, it would be Bissouma, Madders, Sarr, Bentancur on the bench, skipping the reserves, and Højbjerg in the bin.
Oh, I've missed you, Dave. I've missed you.
Would you say that Sarr is now undroppable in this side?
Yes. I generally think so.
Three.
Yeah, my at the moment, Sarr, he has to be in there over form. Yeah, we talk going forward. Yes, I think rotation with him is important and gradually kind of being almost introduced, if you like, and not maybe overplayed. But right now, for me, Sarr has to be in that three. He brings a lot of energy, very dynamic, and he has to be in that midfield. And so does Maddison as well. And Bentancur would be my other one. But again, if it's based on form, then Bentancur doesn't get in. But overall, I think the quality and the caliber of player Bentancur has, he can unlock defences, and he, for me, has to be in there. And I think we have a lot of depth in that midfield area. We've got a lot of options to turn to that can change a game, either holding on or trying to change the game. Bissouma, I absolutely love. And as Dave says, first thing, I've agreed with you tonight, Dave. Sorry about that. But I think he suits the system to a T. As usual, I do think he suits the system to a T. I think some of us are guilty of forgetting that, including myself. But at the end of the day, like if you say to me, like we reach a final, would I play Bissouma? No, because at this moment in time, unless something changes, there's no guarantee that he's going to be on the pitch at the end. And that's a shame to sit here and say that. At the end of the day, he finds himself on the bench for me.
No, that's fair
enough. What about Højbjerg? Where's he?
Being honest with you, coming next, it depends on the opponent, Dave, because you're looking to change things. You bring your Celsos and Bissoumas on. If you're looking to hold out, I think Højbjerg's very key. I prefer him coming on.
We forgot about the Celso. That's how bad it is.
So probably Højbjerg's after Bissouma, then you have the Celso and Skip for me, because I think Højbjerg can play the pass, can dictate play, and most importantly, can hold on. I agree, I don't like him starting. It annoys me when he starts, because you want to win a game, and Højbjerg isn't the player you want to win a game, but when you want to hold on, I would bring him on, all jokes aside.
Did we do that against Everton, just out of interest?
Well, he was one of many players that came on, Dave. I didn't see him lose.
We didn't bring it. We brought him on specifically to hold out.
Yeah, it didn't work then, did it? But look at Man City at the Etihad. He was excellent.
Anyway, ladies, let's move.
Sorry, I haven't been on for a while, so I've got a little bit in my bonnet.
I know you do, yeah. There's quite a few people in the chat, so get your comments in the chat, get questions coming to us, anything that you want to talk about.
Can I just quickly say something to Johnny?
2 secs. Let us know. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel if you're new. Make sure you hit the like button as well, and go check out our sponsor, Manscaped at manscaped.com. Yes, Harry, what would you like to say to Johnny?
I just wanted to say to Johnny, I remember after, because I just seen you in the chat there, after you beat Luton 4-3 at the Def, you came in here, and when I questioned whether it was luck or not, you told me that it was class, and that's why you're going to win the league, you keep going. Yeah, the first thing you said today is our wins based on luck, so where's the consistency? I'll leave that with you, Johnny.
Weirdly,
you
what are you saying, Dave?
Yeah, Harry needs to drop the mic after that, because he's spot on.
Right, so let's get into the game then, because it was a dramatic 2-1 win over Brighton. Dave, early on, we seem to, again, mess about on the ball too early. I don't know why, right? Brighton are a side who play the exact way that we play, but right at this moment in time, they play the progression and the transition of the ball 10 times better than we do. They're quick, they pass the ball well, and they pounced on us when they needed to. Danny Welbeck. What Danny Welbeck has eaten over the last 5 years, I have no idea, because I think he looks better than he's ever looked before. And he pulled that great save from Vicario 1 minute into the game.
Do you know what I think it is? And you are right, Brighton do play it better. It was a bit of a basketball game yesterday, because both teams want to do that. Playing the ball out from the back, keeping the ball while the other team presses you and things like that. But Brighton have had a lot more time to be able to perfect it than we have. This is our first season playing that style of football. We've gone from Conte ball, a Mourinho ball, where we have 18 men and the groundsman parked in front of the goal. So, to make that change and make that transition now to become a footballing team, it's going to take time to bed in. But what I will say is, yes, although we did start sloppy, Lolo was incredibly sloppy to begin with. Yeah. It's his fault for the goal, obviously, his fault for a couple of chances, but we stuck to it. And this is one thing we do now. We don't panic. We stick to that same plan with that same style. And you can't argue, but that same style got us the winner in the 96th minute. 100%. So, what I will say is, yeah, it's frustrating to watch at times, but when you're playing against a team like Brighton, who we know are dangerous, we know how they're going to play. We know they're going to play quick football, quick attacking, possession-based football, which is what we want to play, which is what we're building to play. I thought we actually competed with them really, really well. It was end-to-end stuff. It was a great game to watch. It was fascinating, and it could have been 4-4, 5-4 at the end of the day. If it weren't for both keepers, really. Steele made a couple of very good saves, same as Vic made a couple of very good saves. But you are right about Danny Welbeck. I don't know what he's doing, but he needs to be drug tested or something, because he's turned into an unbelievable player over the last couple of years. Even his pace yesterday was ridiculous. I don't remember ever being that quick.
No. He had everything, to be honest, didn't he, yesterday, I think.
Must have had his weakness.
Yeah, I know. But then, to be honest, anytime I slag anyone off on this channel, they turn into like Prime Lionel Messi, because Neil Maupay is having an absolutely incredible time after I completely slagged him off last week and said he was the worst striker in Premier League history. So who knows what's going on. But Winnie, I'll come to you. 17 minutes in, we go 1-0 down. And as Dave alluded to, like, this was all to do with Bentancur losing the ball really close to our box. Van de Ven tried to do what he could do, stuck a leg out, fouled Danny Welbeck. And on first glance, I thought, it's never a foul. But the more times I looked at it, the more I thought, there's no way it's not a foul. And Gross goes and sticks the ball in the back of the net. But it was really, again, we're our own downfall, weren't we, in the early stage of this game?
It seems to be. Tottenham Hotspur, as you say, we seem to gift goals. We don't have I can't remember the last time someone scored a goal against us where we've gone, do you know what? That's a really good move, that is, or that's a fucking cracking finish. We just seem to give goals away. Bentancur, as we alluded to, he's usually his first touch is away from the player. For someone who is, I would say, he's quite tall. His feet and his center of gravity is incredible for someone that size. And his first touch is normally one and away from the player, but he's just been so sluggish. It looks as though like, he may be up to fitness, but I don't think his brain is there just yet, because he's not doing the things that he usually does. Although I did see a spark of it, I must say, in the second half, where he made this ridiculous little bit of skill, broke away from a player and played a ball out. But yeah, he got caught on the ball. But I'm maybe it's me being with my biased head on. I don't think it's a penalty. I think that's the softest penalty I've ever seen in my life. And again, that's just my opinion. You what? Sorry?
But he doesn't get the ball.
He doesn't get the ball, but did he get a lot of the man? I don't think so. My opinion and the issue I have is, I think it was like you say, it was a lazy leg as such, even though it was early on in the game from Van de Ven. But I think all he's done is he's come down on Welbeck's foot. Now, I don't think stamping on someone's foot is a foul or a penalty. But again, that is just my opinion. But either way, we victim of our own downfall, as you say. We tried to play out from the back, and we won't ever change. So we need to get used to it, because we're going to be conceding a hell of a lot more goals like this in the future. But I don't want us to change. I don't want us to change from it, because this is our style of football, and eventually we're going to perfect it. And when we do, it will be very, it'll be very difficult for teams to press us, because we will beat the press. But yeah, it was a shit.
I've got to say to that comment, I don't know if that's you, Winnie, or to me, but I don't want to change the way we play. Like I said initially, you have to give credit, because we carried on playing the way we played, which eventually got us the winning goal. And in terms of the softest penalty, that wasn't even the softest penalty given yesterday. The softest penalty given yesterday was in the Luton game with that dodgy handball.
That's true.
Did you think it was a penalty though, Dave? Did you think it was a penalty on Welbeck?
I think in this age it's a penalty, 100%.
Right. Yeah.
I think if you went back 5 years, it's not given, because it's not enough. In the old days, you're told to get up and carry on, but in this day and age, contact is penalty. It's simple as that.
But do you not think? Well, okay, if we're talking about penalties, Dave, what do you think about the Nottingham Forest non-penalty?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's Stonewall. that's like I said to you. I think there's, and I've had this argument about VAR and I've had this argument about referees before. There was a time when we had the best referees in the world. We had the unbelievable referees and everyone was envious of it. Why we've decided to get VAR like every other country, but do it our own way, is the weirdest thing ever. Because VAR in different countries, I don't know if I watch quite a lot of Spanish football, it's so much quicker. They make decisions. I think there was a game the other day where it took 3 minutes, but that's the longest it's taken ever. Their decisions are like, bam, one look at the screen, penalty. They're not looking at a screen, watching 20 replays from 14 different angles to try and figure out whether it's a penalty or not. So I just think that the standard of refereeing, the standard of VAR in this country is a joke. The penalties that get given and the rules that the referees have to adhere to in terms of handball in the box is a joke. And there's no consistency. So the reality of it is we're all going to have to suck it up because it's going to go for you and against you all season. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. And do you know what? I remember I watched Match of the Day this morning and I watched the Dawson for Wolves get offside for having like half his toe offside. And I just think like the game's getting ruined, isn't it? Because it's not like where does he get an advantage from? Because his body is in line, but his foot, which he could score with, but he doesn't, he scores with his head, is offside. But his head is onside. So that's the part, it's just mental. Like, and they try and do, as you say, just pick apart like goals to try and find a way to rule it out or to get involved.
I mean, Harry, you've been to a few games, right, lately? How many times do they stop a game for a quick VAR check? Or how many times does the referee blow his whistle and tell a keeper to hang on or a player to take a throw while they quickly check? It's beyond the joke. It's too long. It's we're getting 10-minute stoppage time because of it and stuff like that, which is bonkers. It's bonkers that you're getting that much, added time at the end of a game. But it's just one of those things where I've always been, in terms of the offsides, I always think the advantage should go to the attacker, in my opinion. If it's a millimetre or 2 millimetres offside, advantage to the attacker. Simple as that, because the defender's not doing his job properly.
Yeah, interesting. H, I know we're going to release a video actually on TikTok after this on your thoughts on blue cards. I'm not going to go around everyone because we could break StreamYard with how annoyed people might get. But I just kind of want to get like your brief thought before we release that video after the show on that, because the one part of it that I'm not for the idea, right? But one of the things that I am for is to stop players from abusing or shouting at referees or other officials, right? Which we still see time and time and time again. We still see managers outside of their technical areas when they shouldn't be. We still see all of these things that people shouldn't do that they aren't punished for. And something like that, dissent and having a time off the pitch, could be a reason for that, right? I don't watch a lot of rugby, but what I do know about rugby is how polite they are to the officials and how polite they are to everybody. And that's a much more contact sport. What are your thoughts on blue cards?
Wow, where do I start? Firstly, you're right with what you say in terms of what we're seeing at the moment and what needs to change, but the blue card isn't going to change that. Fourth official, what's his job if he can't keep two managers inside the technical area? So that's one problem for me. Two, okay, you're going to book Dallo twice at Anfield for complaining dissent, as you call it. But then in the following game, or no, in the same game, by the way, you got Salah going like that 4 times in total. Didn't even get a booking. So consistency would help for a start. Where do I stand with blue cards? It's petty. The game's going the wrong way. Another poor invention by people who, for me, don't care about the game. And don't watch the game. So there we go. And going back to VAR, it's been obviously introduced after us in Scotland. You watch Scottish Premiership, decisions are made a lot quicker. I'm glad Dave said. In the Spanish League, decisions are made really quickly. We saw the Women's World Cup, decisions made really quickly, communicated much more efficiently, effectively, and quicker. So we just don't see that. It's confusion. I can't tell you what the handball rule is. Every week it's something different, like this goalkeeper situation. I think they make it up as they go along. And now we've seen Vicario, and I think they're going to... It seemed against Brighton that they started to say, okay, we're going to give a few more fouls now. And I was like, hang on a minute. There was more contact against Everton than ones like corners that we were giving free kicks. So it's inconsistency. I get you're never going to have full consistency, but officials need to help themselves. VAR, for me, is getting involved in too much. More power needs to be given to the on-field official. And that technology, which is based off opinion and not facts, needs to take a step away. The blue card will be introduced just to control the game more, which is, for me, the main problem at the moment. So what I would change, forget the blue card, forget the sin bins. I'd mic all officials up, release the footage and audio after every single match, make it more obvious to fans that go into the stadium, because there's a 20-25 second delay. After the penalty, after Brighton scored, it said VAR check review penalty. I was like, oh, thanks for that. They've gone and scored it. There's no effective communication. We don't know what is going on, and it's ruining the flow. The added time's causing injuries, yet they claim they care about players' welfare, and that's why they're scrapping FA Cup replays, but they're doing the added time. They've got the silly rule with the offside flag. It's absolutely bonkers. But no, it's another poor decision. And the last good invention was what? Goal line technology. Since then, they've been a long, long way behind.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate.
Spot on, mate.
Yeah. Very well said, sir. Callum, you've been quiet for a long time, lad. I'm going to come to you next.
Take it.
Until the 60th minute for anything to happen. But it took a player who's been missing for quite some time at the African Cup of Nations, Sir, who I thought had a really good game for us yesterday, and a really, really nice pass from Kulusevski into Sarr. You could see he was going to pass it to Richarlison a million miles away, and got ricocheted off dunk into the post, and then he managed to slot it home. It was a really, really good finish. How good is it to see him scoring for us?
Yeah, no, it is really, really good, because I saw some bollocks tabloid report from Spain this week where it went, right, Barcelona want to get a midfielder who's in the same ilk as Yaya Toure, and I'm just like, right, here we go. And then as soon as I saw it below it, they're tracking Pape Matar, and I was just like, who comes up with this shit? But the thing is, the reason why he's been touted around and looked at is because of how well he is doing. So, yeah, I think he's, for his first full Premier League season, because we can't really count the time that he was with Conte, because, was it 2-3 games that he had? And even in them, he looked ilk above it. Yeah, he's such a good player, and he's only 20 or 21 now. So I think he's someone with a lot of potential and a good future with us. And to actually sign him down to 2030, I know a lot of players don't really hold on to their contracts unless you're Chelsea players, because you're stuck on huge wages and you're not going to want to go anywhere. To actually get that, it's building a team around this young core. And with him, yeah, I know he tried to square it to Richarlison, but thank you, Lewis Dunk, who probably has been one of the best centre-backs in the league this year for Brighton and other teams, that to actually pick it up on the rebound, it shows that he's actually got some common sense as a player as well, and not just going to be headless or try and hit into Rose Ed like Højbjerg did yesterday when he took a shot. But he's a really interesting player. When you look at Sarr, he actually knows where to pick a pass to, but also knows how to make them runs. It looks like, whereas Ange was playing him more deeper earlier in the season, now he's sort of making late runs into the box to try and pick up either an assist, a goal, or get involved in build-up play as well, which is really interesting. And yeah, I think for Kulu to actually trust him to pick him out in that position is pretty good as well, because Kulusevski was dog shit yesterday. He did about as much as fuck all, to be honest, as well.
What an in-depth and very broad analysis of Kulusevski's game there. But no, I agree, and it's nice to see. And do you know what? This is a point to Spurs Twitter people. We need to see more of Sarr on the socials, because the bits I have seen of him, I think he's brilliant. He's always happy, always smiling. Him and Sonny are like two best pals. And oh my God, have you seen some of the clobber that he puts on? Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
He's got some awful, awful clobber. Winnie, I want to come to you, because a minute later, as soon as we scored, Ange made some subs. And, I want to come to you about this, because we've been critical of Ange's subs recently on this channel, and, the kind of subs that he's making in games. But he brought off Werner, put on Son, took off Bentancur, put on Basuma, and took off Kulusevski and brought on Johnson. And it made all the difference, didn't it?
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not going to contradict myself, but I thought the Kulusevski for Johnson one was probably one I wouldn't have made because Kulusevski in that second half was causing them havoc. As Callum alluded to, in the first half he was dog shit, and I probably would have brought him off at half time if anything. But in that little bit of second half that he had, he was causing them a lot of trouble, stuff that he wasn't doing in the first half. But no, look, we've been on here for the last 2 weeks, criticising Ange's substitutions, but yesterday I think he got them pretty much spot on. Brought off the people that I would have brought off. Maybe I would have left Kulusevski on, as I just said. But again, we look at Johnson, and obviously what happened with him. So no, I think he made them, and he made them at a very good time as well. It just so happened that we scored just before it. Obviously, he couldn't predict that, but it seemed like he made them just at the right time, even though he was preparing to make them before we scored. But no, a lot of criticism on his subs of late, but I think he got it right yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. He also, when he, usually he'd bring on Dragusin late on and go for a back five. We've seen him do that even against Everton. I claimed last week it was just to give him some minutes, but this week he didn't do that. He brought Ben Davies on. I thought he looked all right, Ben Davies, when he came on.
I also thought as well, Werner was unlucky to come off because I thought he had a very, very good game again. And I'll be very surprised if we don't exercise the option to buy him, even if he stinks for the rest of the season, which is unlikely. I think even then he's shown enough now that he's he'll be a very, very good player under Ange. So he could have stayed on as well, but we needed fresh legs, and it proved vital in the end.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's actually a good talking point. Let's go around everybody else, because I'm still undecided on Werner, but I can see what you're talking about and why you would keep him just based on his energy and effort that he puts in. Callum, Timo Werner, out of what you've seen right now, keep or give back at the end of the season?
I'd keep. Take a risk. Well, low risk. Take a low risk on him.
Yeah. Dave?
What's he going to cost?
Between
16 million, isn't it?
No. It was 15 million euros, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
If it's 15 million euros, it's a snip.
Yeah.
He's a great squad player. I don't think he's the next coming to Messi, but for what he does in this system, he suits it down to the ground. We missed Sonny quite a lot while he was away. Werner came and done a good job, couple of assists, and he does cause problems with his pace in behind. So yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, definitely. A bit more time as well, working on finishing with the coaching staff and things like that, and getting that back together, because there was the one really frustrating moment yesterday when he had the rebound from Richarlison's saved shot in the first half, and it just looked like he wasn't. A few times he's looked like he hasn't been committed to the challenge that's come in, or committed to the shot. But H, what are you thinking at this moment in time? Keep or give back?
No, it's a good question. I think he started life at Spurs really, really strongly. And as you say, it really is a no-brainer for that price. If you say to me, do I think Werner's the long-term answer, although I really like him? No. But right now, he's very handy to come around, who can impact games for me. And he really grew into the game. But we kind of link it into the question you asked about Ange's subs, right? I think they're all, the players he brought on were right, and also the players he brought off were also right. I think it was the timing that was frustrating, because Kulusevski awful the whole game, but when he did come off, he had about 4 minutes before that where he actually looked okay, and exactly the same with Timo Werner. I just thought he just cut inside and taken a shot, Werner, and it nearly creeped in the bottom corner, and it took a deflection, so it might have creeped in, you never knows, and then he goes and takes them both off. So it's a little bit frustrating, and then it was a bit flat after that for 15-20 minutes, and I thought Brighton were going to score, so I was quite frustrated at that moment in time, but it did work out, and that's all that matters. But Timo Werner for 15 million euros is a no-brainer, is it? I mean, you need half a brain cell to tell you that.
Yeah, you either have him start and Son comes on as an impact player, or Son starts and he comes on as an impact player, just like Brennan Johnson can. I think, as you say, having that burst of pace late on.
Let's be clear. I think Son does come ahead of Timo Werner, but I think Werner can be used effectively.
Yeah, I think depend. If we're talking rotation, cup games, there's options. Where
I know what you mean, but let's make it clear though to listeners.
Yeah. I think we've got to be clear as well. Let's not delude ourselves like the Chelsea fans did when they were buying him. He's not not going to be an out-and-out striker for us. He's not going to be a 30, 40-goal striker. He's not going to be someone to replace Kane. He's coming in as a squad option if he does sign for us, who can offer something different. But I don't think he's going to be a guaranteed goal threat, because you can see that he's probably had 10, 12 chances across the last couple of games, and there's something that has stopped him taking them. So I don't know whether it's Ange telling him to lay the ball off, or whether he's actually just so devoid of confidence that his feet are dog shit for him at the moment, knowing how to engage his brain to his shooting boots. So we just have to be realistic and say that if he is going to come in, he's going to do a job for us, but we can't expect the world from him, if you get what I mean.
Can I just say something really quick? Massive shout out to the most random Twitter follower I do have, which is by Leverkusen. In stopping Harry Kane, hopefully winning a trophy. That would just be unbelievable. So thanks for following me. Follow the club, follow our page, and well done.
I love that.
Dave, can I just ask, what is that behind you? Is it a gerbil or something
No,
like
no,
that? Because that is fucking confused. That is something.
My daughter's got autism and she's obsessed with rats. So we have 8 pet rats.
I thought you were going to say it's my daughter there.
Do you want to see one? Do you want to see one?
Well, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll get one.
It's a bit weird considering I watched a documentary on Black Death earlier. That really goes down well.
Right. Anyway. Oh God, ginormous!
Fucking size of that!
Right. We got 8 of them.
8.
8.
Who needs 8 rats?
Wow. Well, everyone has turkey at Christmas. Dave has a rat.
Anyway, quick one for Winnie. Jay said, "When are the FC24 streams back? I'm looking forward to them." #COYS.
So, Jay, I'm delighted to announce that this coming Tuesday, we will be doing another stream. We're not sure on the details of it yet, because we wanted to do a Pro Clubs episode, didn't we? Yeah. But that's obviously dependent on getting the numbers and the people to do it with. But regardless, if we can't do it, we'll definitely stream possibly a duo episode. So, but yeah, no. So this Tuesday, keep your eyes peeled, and we will announce when, what time, etc.
Yeah, we're thinking of doing some form of co-op like we did last time, but won't be necessarily specifically Spurs.
No, it'll be brief details. It'll be another famous wheel that we have, but it'll be like stars on there. So if we spin it and we get 2-star, we have to pick a 2-star team, etc. So
yeah,
I'm up for that.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, can I just clarify? So you're doing this in 2 days' time, but you don't know what time it is. You don't know what you're talking about.
You know what time it is? 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay. It could be 8 o'clock. Okay. You don't know
I can't do it in 2 days' time, but I'm up for future ones, definitely.
Yeah.
Perfect.
2-star Grimsby Town. There we go. That'd be fucking quality.
There we go. Barney's also looking forward to it. So, Jay, if you are still here, then we've just answered your question. But if you're not,
if Jenny hasn't scared you off,
yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's get back into it. Let's talk to Callum. 90 plus 6 minutes. The ball breaks away, and one of the best passages of play I saw all game. The ball came into Richarlison, timed his ball to Son absolutely perfectly, who laid the ball across the box to Brennan Johnson. And I went absolutely spare. Not only because I got a correct score in the game, but, it just shows that this team, never, ever dies. This team never knows when to give up. And, tell me, if any of you saw this type of performance last season, you'd have thought you were dreaming, because you'd never have seen a team keep fighting until the last minute under Antonio Conte, and just shows what Ange is doing to this club.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest, I'd switched the game off by about 80 minutes, so I had to go back and re-watch it on Spurs Play today. Yeah, but I re-watched it and... Well, yeah, Dave, you were sitting with a rat on your lap, mate, so you was all right.
8, mate. 8.
Fucking rat catcher, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it was probably the best piece of play in the game because we didn't have anything else going for us at that point. But it's that do or die attitude where we did well to come back into the game and actually win it, because at the end of the day we got stung by it last week against Everton. So to actually see Richarlison make the pass into Son and then Son play a beautiful ball across to Johnson was really good. But I think probably me and about a couple of other 1,000 Spurs fans were looking at it thinking, this is going in row freaking Z. This is just going up into the stands. We're not getting it here. And then to actually see it go in was really good. And then was it Dunk who nearly headbutted the post or something like that afterwards as well, whilst they was all celebrating, which I found quite entertaining as well. But it does show that the mentality has shifted, because there's been a couple of games like that. Obviously, Sheffield United at Spurs. There's been the Liverpool game as well. So yeah, it's do or die. But it did feel like we was going for another poxy one-all draw where we was just going to end up sitting there. So for us to actually do it, really positive, and it means that Johnson's actually growing in confidence as well, because he's popped up with 2 big goals in the last 3 weeks, which is really good.
Big moment as well, isn't it? Last minute of the game, you have to get that touch perfect, and as you say, either it goes over the bar, or it goes into the roof of the net. But Harry, I want to come to you because a man who goes to many a game at the Spurs Stadium. I want to talk to you about some of the annoyance that I've seen on social media recently. That annoyance includes such things as light shows before games. But yesterday, there was a lovely young man called Declan McKenna who played at half-time. Now, you don't have to have watched him or anything like that, but as someone who goes to games quite a lot, and this is like a talented musician who supports Spurs and is allowed to perform at half-time, I've seen people call it, this is not American football, it's not the Super Bowl. Have a day off, lads. Spurs are trying to make the day and the whole game more enjoyable for everybody. It's not all about drinking 20 pints of beer and taking your shirt off and falling down the stairs on the way to the game. That's part of it. But the other part of it is people are allowed to go out and have a day out and enjoy things at half time. If you don't want to go and watch it or listen to it, go and have a pint. Go into the concourse and spend your money on whatever's there. What are your thoughts as a regular match goer?
Yeah, well, I loved it. And firstly, I think some fans are idiots. They really are, because listen, they sit here and go, the club are doing nothing to improve the atmosphere. That we have these things like the light shows. They produce flags when we play Manchester City, or they allow Declan to perform at halftime like he did. Then we get told that we're cheesy. The trumpet was another one. We get accused of all these kind of things. So that's hypocrisy. It's its finest. It reminds me when we get told, we don't splash the cash like City and Chelsea do. We get the new stadium, or we bring the likes of Pink and hopefully Adele in the future to the Tottenham Stadium, which creates. It's a game changer, produces so much revenue. Then they moan about it. I haven't spoken to one person who's see, I speak to so many people who aren't behind the ownership, and they're all like, the stadium's not a great thing. So there's a lot of idiots out there, I'm afraid. But I think that I didn't know if Declan, I didn't know of him until the day before and knew he was performing. I thought he'd done a fantastic job. Obviously, wish him all the best, and I will definitely look out for him for the future. But yeah, it's what we want to see. I think it should be done more often. I love the light show. I love the trumpet. So the club are doing everything right. They've delivered in the transfer market. They're delivering off the field with FFP. They're delivering for Ange Postecoglou. I think they're delivering for the atmosphere as well. So, and Declan, great performance.
Dave, coming to you.
Shame the team's performance wasn't as good, but at least you won.
I think, I don't know, I can't be actually going to say this, but at the moment, Daniel Levy's kind of making me eat my hat a little bit. And the reason I say that is FFP. And FFP is crippling every team at the moment.
Yeah.
Teams are struggling to spend money. Teams are struggling to do anything. Yeah, here we are charging 50 quid for people to drive a go-kart underneath the stadium. Pulling in all this extra revenue from all these different holes. He's got his fingers in so many pies that it's actually going to turn us into a bit of a financial juggernaut. And I remember Paul O'Keefe said this quite a lot. He said that we are going to become a financial juggernaut because of these extra revenues. So Look, if a kid wants to perform at half time, singing or whatever, and he's allowed to do it, support him. If the club want to let him do it, let him do it. Because at the end of the day, if there's a good feeling around the club again, what it is you get naysayers that want to destroy that good feeling, that good buzz, that good energy. Last year it was a football everyone could moan about, the state of the football, the fact that the owners weren't spending money, etc., etc., etc. They don't have that to moan about anymore because fair play to Tottenham, they've spent some money in the transfer window. They've gone for the targets that Ange wanted, and they've signed the players that he wanted to sign. Yeah, he didn't get Lewis Hamilton, but he gone to Ferrari, but he tried. But the reality of it is there is nothing really to moan about, and then, unfortunately, people love a moan. I'm one of the biggest moaners going, but I'm also one of these people that will turn around and admit, you know what, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit, because with the financial state of football at the moment and FFP, we're probably 10 years ahead of a lot of clubs due to the extra revenue we are bringing in already. That in the next few years is going to put us right at the top of where we need to be in terms of being able to spend money and be within the financial restrictions of football. So you have to give credit where it is due. And to all the people whinging about anything, just be happy. Look, life is one of these things, right? Things happen in life. People die, people get ill, whatever else. There's more important things to life than having a moan. Trust me. So enjoy your time with your family, enjoy your football. Try and enjoy it as best as you possibly can. Fair play to Declan jumping. That's a massive thing to do. Light shows, I'm all for it. So a bit more positivity and we'll be in a good place.
Well said, Dave.
Thanks.
I was just turn the stream off now.
Should have saved
with that. For fuck's sake, Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave, I love this new, but respect to you for that. Like, you've had your issues with Enoch and Levy in the past, and you still do, I'm assuming. And like some of us do have issues, right? The lack of trophies is an issue, but to be able to stand there and to say, these things that they have been doing, a lot of that, okay, the issues have still been trophies, but the things that they have been doing have been for us for the long run, for now. And
it sets us up perfectly moving forward. It sets there isn't many clubs with a go-kart track underneath the stadium. That's all I'm going to say. It's extra revenue streams from places that we didn't think existed. I mean, whose brainchild was that? I know what we'll do. You know what I mean? Like, let's put an electric car track underneath the stadium, or we were at all these boxing events, NFL events. They all bring in mega money. You've got now Man United talking about building the Wembley of the North because they're looking at Tottenham and looking at the stadium and looking at what we're bringing in terms of revenue and what we're doing to compete with FFP and to make sure that we can spend 500 million every transfer window for the next 5 windows. I think it is 500 million euros for the next 5 windows without breaching FFP. That's mental.
Yeah,
but that's mental. But yeah, I do have my issues with Levy, but I am one of these people that I will put my hands up and say, yeah, I did jump the gun on some of the things I have said. The lack of the trophies is still a major problem, but I do think we're in safe hands of Ange, and I do think we'll turn that around.
Yeah, 100%. Right, Winnie, I'll come to you next. I want to talk about Mickey van der Ven because this kid has been a revelation since coming to Spurs. The question was asked actually to Ange the other day. Every time he sprints now, do you get scared he's gonna pull up and pull his hamstring again? And he said no, but if I was him, I do every single time I see that kid sprinting. I think in a second his old leg's just gonna pop off or something. But he has now recorded the fastest ever sprint or ever top speed in the Premier League, 37.38 kilometers per hour, beating Kyle Walker. Now, records have only begun for the last 4 years for this specific thing, but he was the fastest player in the Bundesliga last season. He's now the fastest ever player in the Premier League. What a player.
Absolutely unbelievable. And I mean, obviously, it's potluck. Obviously, when we were linked with Van der Ven and Tapsoba, me personally, not for any particular reason, I just thought he was a better fit. But obviously, I wouldn't know that until he joined the club, and it could have been the same for Tapsoba. However, look, I was all for Van der Ven because I thought, he is the guy to come into that left-sided And he's left-footed. I mean, we were looking at Tapsoba, who was right-footed to play in a left-sided position or whatever. So it wasn't working. But yeah, Van der Ven, what an absolute! I mean, he's literally got everything you want a centre-back to have. It just so happens that he fits our system perfectly. But just in general, in the Premier League, the era that the Premier League's in now, he has everything. He's massive for a start. He's rapid. He's good on the ball. Literally everything. Calm under pressure. And he, I would say tackling, obviously aside from the Brighton game where he gave a penalty away. However, I think that was just a lapse in judgment. I think he realised the error as soon as he did it. And he strikes me as a person who probably won't do the same thing again if given, against Wolves. So, yeah, what an absolute play and a steal when you look at in comparison. I'm not gonna go and compare him to a Van Dijk, but his ceiling is huge, and I think he can have the same impact with us that Van Dijk had for Liverpool eventually. And you look at the price tag that Liverpool had to pay to get Van Dijk. So I think it's an absolute steal. But I'm not going to get too carried away just yet. But so far, he's looking like a perfect partner for Romero. And like I say, I think Romero now, he's had his discipline issues this season, not just last season. He has it on this season. But I think the whole, vice captaincy role thing has helped him. But I also think what's helped him is having someone reliable next to him. So he knows he doesn't have to go and do these stupid tackles and these stupid runs. I mean, Romero against Brighton, for me, unbelievable. One of the best players on the pitch. His progressive, his balls that he plays through the lines into the midfield is perfect. But I think he now has the freedom to express himself a bit more. And that is all down to Mickey van der Ven, who has been an absolute revelation. But yeah, I do, every time he falls on the floor or I'm absolutely shitting my pants because I think he's going to get injured again.
Yeah, I think he should be the next person that's signed up to another mega deal to keep him as long as we can. We need to get these young kids staying at Spurs. Anyway, let's move on because we're running out of time tonight. Let's go through the Brighton score predictions. Harry went for 3-1. Callum went for 3-1. Dave went for 3-1. Winnie went for 3-2. And I went for the famous 2-1. Which means everybody gets that.
I didn't need that this week, Luke. Thanks.
Apart from me, who gets 3 points, which does this to the table. Callum on 14, Harry and Dave on 17, Winnie on 21. But I have just stretched to 3 points ahead on 24. So makes this week's score predictions even more important. I have written my score prediction down, Winnie. But if you want to do it another way, I can let you say yours first, and I can say mine, or I can say mine first. Up to you.
No, feel free to do yours.
Okay, we'll do that when we get to it. Let's go into the Wolves game then.
Hang on, boys. I know we're a bit behind, but we're still in it. Come on, don't write us off just yet. It only takes 2 correct scores. We're right back there.
Yeah, love it.
Sorry, Callum. Callum, you're excluded from this because you're on 14 points.
H, talk to me about Wolves. What are you expecting from that game next weekend?
Well, expecting nothing but 3 points because we all know that we've got a tough end to the season to come. We've got to go to James's.
What's happened to Harry Scarf? Pessimistic Mr. Scarf.
Been abducted by aliens, but we've got to go to St James's Park. We've got to go to Villa Park. We've got to go to Stamford Bridge. We've got to go to the London Stadium. I know also you see West Ham today, but believe it or not, they turn up for our game. And fans leaving at half time. Over the phone, fans can turn up, but we've also got to host Arsenal, Man City at home. So we've got a tough end to the season, being honestly tougher than anyone else. So I said ahead of the Brighton game that our next 3 games, said it on here as well, that I think it has to be 9 points. If we don't get that, then I seriously don't believe that top 4 is for us this year. I think it is that big and it makes it so hard for us. We want to be able to get to Villa Park and go, okay, if we get a point, it's not the end of the world. Or, okay, we draw to Man City at home, it's not the end of the world. We want to be able to be in that position. Ideally. So, yeah, no disrespect to Wolves, but I do respect 3 points. They've been very good under Gary O'Neill this season, let's be clear, but Cunha looks like he'll be out after picking up an injury. They're not the same without him. Neto still isn't back to full fitness, and they capitulated against Brentford when Cunha went off. It was a massive shock. So, yeah, I just think defensively Wolves will struggle. Craig Dawson just don't think we'll have the legs. It's a type of game where I would start the likes of Brennan Johnson, so I think we can really exploit them, stretch them, and I think there'll be goals in it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing. I'll let you wait on your score prediction for a few more minutes. But everybody else, make sure you get your Wolves score prediction in. Johnny, I know that you follow every week, so remind us of what score you gave for the Brighton game and how many points you've got, because you keep track somehow for some reason. Callum, what do you think? Do you think that Son will be starting against Wolves? Do you think Sarr will continue to dominate in that midfield? Do you think he'll make any other changes apart from Son coming in?
I reckon maybe Basuma for Bentancur. To be honest, I would actually take Bent out right now. I don't think he looks right. I would even maybe drop Maddison. To be honest, I don't think either of them look anywhere near they did. But you can't expect them to be. They was out for Bentancur, nearly 12 months respectively, and Maddison out for 3. So I mean, this is where all Spurs fans need to not be delusional and just go, they're not playing well, but we've got enough options to do it. So yeah, I would say maybe Basuma comes out, Basuma comes in, and maybe Son comes in, and you could probably play Richarlison, Werner, Son with Kulusevski in the middle, maybe, to give you an option with Sarr and Basuma behind that. So I think that could give us an option because, like you said, if Cunha's out, the Wolves midfield ain't great, and up top, I think is it Sarabia or Sarabia, something like that they have. He did score against the reverse fixture. Yeah, so I mean, then it gives you an option of Johnson off the bench, maybe then Maddison, Bentancur as well, and then you won't have to use Højbjerg off the bench. He can stay at Hotspur away for the day, and Lo Celso can replace him on the bench.
Dave, some radical choices from Callum in terms of dropping James Maddison, dropping Bentancur.
I don't know about that. I've actually changed my mind a little bit because I'll be honest with you, I actually really fancy the draw in this game, and I have done for a little while. But Harry made some really good points about Cunha and the way they play without Cunha. It made such a difference when he went off against Brentford. They did literally fall apart. It was weird to watch. So I wouldn't drop Maddison. I think Bentancur will be dropped. I think Basuma will come in as play alongside Sarr. I think the team will be the same other than that change, personally. Apart from Sonny coming back in. I think Sonny will come in for Werner, but it will stay the same. Kulu out wide, Rishi. But it'll be Biss and Sonny to come back into the squad. And I think Harry is kind of right in terms of the next 3 games. They are crucial because we do have some tough places to go still. But one of the things we have got to remember is we have only got 14 games left this season. We can't play any more than 14 games. That for us is massive because the teams around us are still, some of them are still at European football, some are still in cup competitions or whatever else, So, I'm feeling a bit more positive than I was earlier about the game. Are we at home or are we away?
Home.
Yeah. So I do fancy us now than more than I did earlier. I think Son comes straight back in, and I think Biss comes straight back in, and I think with Biss, what you get is somebody whose progressional play suits us down to the ground. He's still going to be match fit because he's been off playing in the AFCON, which the finals on right now, by the way, in the background. I'm feeling quite positive now.
Do you know what? Because you joined the show, and the score you gave me earlier was off the off chance you weren't joining the show, I will allow your on-show score.
You're too soft. You're too soft, Luke.
Unbelievable.
Do you
know what?
agree
Just for his motivational speech, I'll allow it.
Yeah,
thanks,
mate.
No, this is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Callum?
Can you change your too, mate?
If you want.
I don't even remember what I said.
Winnie, thoughts on Wolves game?
Yeah, I'm still expecting a tough game. Under O'Neill, Wolves are a very, very good side going forward. But again, just without completely copying everyone, just alluding to what H said, without Cunha, they are a completely different side. It's a very, very good point to make. But, they still do have Neto who can cause problems. We know that we are sometimes, not defensively inept, but we tend to switch off. And, I imagine that Neto will probably press our defence, quite quickly. And when people press us, we don't deal with it too well all the time. But again, it is a game I'm expecting to win. We had a run, or we now have a run of or 3 games, including the Brighton game at home, with the Chelsea game being postponed. So it's a game we should be winning. We should be winning all of our games at home, as far as I'm aware. But I'm not expecting it to be easy. However, my scoreline that I'm going to choose may contradict what I'm saying, because I'm expecting something. Well, you'll see what my score will be, but I'm not expecting an easy evening. But Wolves are always that side. They're a little bit of a thorn in the side of us. We always seem to struggle against Wolves for whatever reason. I can't remember the last time we've battered a Wolves side, so it won't be easy.
No, definitely
That's
not.
true.
I completely agree. And do you know what? I'm going to kick this bad boy off. Surprise you all with a 2-2 draw.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'm just playing mind games with you, Winnie. Who knows?
I don't know.
Dave, that was my score from earlier.
Yeah, Dave, what are you going for?
I'm going to go for a 2-1 Spurs win.
2-1 Spurs. Okay. Winnie.
I am going for a 3-1 Spurs win.
3-1.
I think, and just quickly, what I will say, the last couple of weeks, we have been so shit. We can't play that shit again. Surely it has to click at some point, and I think it could be Saturday.
No. Okay, fine. And H?
I think we're finally going to keep a clean sheet. So I'm the only one so far to predict a clean sheet. I'm going to go with 2-0 Spurs. I think we get the job done. I don't think, being honest with you, Winnie, I hope you're right, but I don't think it'll be a great performance. I think Wolves will lack a lot up top because they have to change the way they play without the physical presence of Cunha. They play to feet, and I just don't think it will click. I think the passing will be off. I think we win 2-0. Brace from Son.
Brilliant. Callum, you did go for a 2-1 Spurs win. Are you happy to stick with that, or you want to go with anything else?
No, I'll stick with 2-1. I think we're going to play dog shit again. I think we've got another 2 games of being dog crap, and then hopefully something will change itself.
Probably play about as good as your internet is
Yep.
this evening.
Oh, don't. Is it really bad at the moment? Does it keep dropping?
No, it's all right.
It's not too bad.
It's not. It's
Barney
not
said
Spurs don't make me regret changing my score, is all I'm going to say.
Wolves are an excellent side. It was a good game. They can cause any team problems, I think. 2-1 Spurs. Dave, do you like how I already had 2-2 written down, and I knew you had 2-2 written down, so I allowed you to go ahead and change your score?
No, I'm comfortable changing mine, mate. Like I thought about it earlier. After the problem is because I wasn't expecting to be on. I wasn't sure if I was going to be well enough. But when so earlier on when you asked, I'm kind of half asleep and I answered on the cuff like it'll be a 2-2 draw, because that's kind of what you expect from Wolves. But when you look it into a bit more depth and we actually have a conversation about it, then we can be a little bit more forthright in the players they are missing. Although Gary O'Neill does have them playing very well, Cunha's a huge loss. When he first came to Wolves, he looked hopeless, but he's looked very, very good lately. So, yeah, without Cunha, I do think we win. With Cunha, I think we draw 2-2.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is interesting to think about the people that are missing as well. Let's move on before we finish and talk about fantasy football, Dave's favourite part of the show.
I think I'm second at the moment.
Yeah, it has.
I've got the least points out of anyone in the league, by the way, this week so far.
It has been updated. It got updated at 6:30, which is lovely to see. So, top of the league is Shan Mohit with Eric Ten Sagalu. They got 63 points this week and are on 1,382 points. But only 5 points behind is Big Dave, who scored 65 this week, 1,377 points.
Just FYI, really quickly on that point, I've still got Conor Gallagher to play tomorrow. Not Conor Gallagher. I've got Palmer to play tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I've got Palmer.
I've got Palmer as well.
Al Malone,
Says
Rainy
Winnie.
Paul, and then another Paul, Juan Sancho, Jack Johnson, and then Luke David has overtaken Winnie.
I know, I've just seen that. I'm fuming. I'm not happy.
80 points.
Mid-table battle.
1,292 points. Winnie only scored 33 this week. Did you actually have any players play?
I think I've had a bit of a stinker, boys. I'm not going to lie. But I've been all right recently.
Where's Callum these days?
We'll get to Callum in a minute.
All
right.
Then we've got Harry Scarf in 14th. Sorry, so I'm in 8th. Winnie's in 9th. Harry's in 14th with 1,174 points. Callum Stubbs is in 16th place, 1,000 and 49.
Can I just say something about Callum, right? He's got 42 points so far, but Saka on the bench with 15 points. You've got Lascelles with 0 in your team, Ramsdale with 0, and you've got Yi Chamati from Everton. Never heard of him, so I don't know what he's doing in your team.
He's also, but did Pau Torres play today? Because if he played, he will be the first one that comes on because he's Callum's first sub and he got 0 points.
I think he's out on long-term injury or something like that.
He was back fit. I don't know if he played though, but he was back fit.
Let's have a look.
But anyway, I had the worst day so far, if you like, worst couple of days out of anyone. I've got 30 points.
Yeah, Torres didn't even come on. They played fucking Clement Longley. Jesus Christ! Of all the dog shit they could have played, it was him.
You'll get an extra 15 points, Callum. So
you might move you up from 16th to 16th.
Yeah, drop us a message on Twitter and we'll send the code over to you.
Remember that it's double game week next week for Luton, Liverpool, Brentford, and City.
Mm-hmm.
So I take
you're not
points away.
Anybody, mate. They're the secrets that put you top.
Anyway, right, let's wrap this bad boy up, everyone. Let's go around the houses, tell everyone how they can find you. Winnie, thanks again for coming on. We'll see everybody on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock for the FIFA stream. So make sure you check that out. But how can everyone find you?
Yeah, Winnie1991 on Twitter. As you say, just make sure you keep your eyes peeled. But as you said, it's 8 o'clock on Tuesday. And we'll sort out the finer details our end, kind of what we're going to do. But it's been a while since we've done it. And obviously you get to see my face again because there'll be a nice little camera in the top right or bottom right corner. So whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. I don't care. But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for Tuesday.
Amazing. Dave, it's amazing to have you on. Surprise.
Yeah. Can I just do 1 minute of the listeners' time? So obviously, as many of you know, I've not been on much lately. I've been battling some quite serious health problems over Christmas and the New Year, but I am really pleased to say that I'm winning this battle. So you'll be seeing a lot more of me, and hopefully I'll be back properly, regular, full-time very, very soon. But you can find me Park Lane Pod Dave and on this channel. Then I'll see you all soon.
Amazing. No, and I think everyone in the chat will join in and wish you the best in your recovery and everything else. So big up to you, and it's amazing to have you back on. We have missed you a lot.
Thank you.
Right, Harry, how can everyone find you?
Yeah, thank you very much. You can follow me there, Harry Scarf 22. You've got my channel there, Scarfy Spells. And once I finish here, it's meant to start at 8:10. I've got a show with an ex-referee who's referee for 15 years. And we're talking about refereeing, blue card, VAR, inconsistency. And apparently, they will never be consistent. So I'm going to find out a bit of inside information for him because he's got a substantial background. So I'm looking forward to getting into it. So once you finish there, no huge that you'll know. But it's very interesting in terms of insightful information. So I'm going to jump now. So thank you very much, guys. And obviously subscribe to Park Lane Podcast.
Amazing. Thanks, Hank. See you next time. Oh, and for everybody watching, Harry will be hosting the show next week in my absence, as I have some family up to see me. Right, Callum, last but not least, how can everyone find you?
As always, mate, Callum Stubbs 97. Obviously, like Dave, I've been a bit down and out a little bit recently. I may be back on more, but I just got to see how I go and all that, mate. So I'll be popping in and out. I might be popping up and on different bits here and there, but no, it's good to be back. It's good to be back for a little bit anyway, mate.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you on as well, mate. And everyone knows that we'll keep the show running, and you guys can come and go as we please. But I know the people in the chat definitely miss you guys from week in, week out, and those that listen online. If you all want to follow me, it's Luke_Park Lane. But more importantly, make sure you were following Park Lane Pod across all socials, and Park Lane Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and all the rest of it. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing, and more importantly, head over to manscaped.com.
Yes, get them orders in.
Exactly. Use the code ParkLanePod, and you get 20% off and free shipping. But on a serious note, it is important to us that you guys help us out with this as well. The more we can do this, the more we can offer better streams, we can offer better shows, and the support of a company like Manscaped is huge for us, and we want to do our part and support them as well. But that kind of wraps us all up. Thank you all once again for tuning in. It's been a brilliant show, and we'll see you all same time next week, 7 p.m. to talk more about Spurs. Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you.